Hi, this is Howells-Barby, and I'm going to show you how you can exploit Facebook's Open Graph so that you can actually email your Facebook followers. You could technically email the followers of your competitors, of pretty much anyone on Facebook if you want to. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to specifically do it for your own followers. And to be honest, I'd probably only really recommend using it for that purpose anyway, because the likelihood is that if you're just sending out unsolicited emails to people, it's not going to go down particularly well, and I doubt you'll get many good responses. So I've been doing a lot of testing recently and using a few different tools, one of which you'll see here is Facebook ID Scraper. Now we'll use this tool to initially gather a few bits of data, and then I'm going to show you how you can go in and scrape some extra data, extra information, so that you can gather some email addresses. Now, alongside this, I'll show you a few kind of tips for how you can actually use those email addresses to send through to your Facebook followers. There's no trick here. I've tried, tested this, and used it in the past before, so I know it works. So first things first, you're going to need to go to facebookidscraper.com. Now, this is a pretty awesome tool. I've got absolutely no affiliation with these guys. To be honest, I don't even know actually who it is who makes this tool. Essentially, what this tool allows you to do is go in, search for any Facebook page. So let's just use my food blog as an example. Terran Kitchen. If you didn't know I had a food blog, then that's my food blog. And it's found my Facebook page with 4,292 likes and a few other bits of information around it. Now, what Facebook ID Scraper does is it finds as many of the UIDs of each of the Facebook followers or Facebook profiles that are following my page. Now, a UID is the unique user ID essentially, and it's a numerical value that's assigned to each individual Facebook profile. This UID is what's incredibly important for being able to get any kind of information around the followers. You can also use this specifically for Facebook ads, but that's a whole another tutorial in itself. So with Facebook ID Scraper, this is one of a number of tools, to be honest. A few tools that you may have heard of in the past that did a similar thing. Social Lead Fox, I've talked about that before. That tool was recently shut down because their app wasn't aligning with Facebook's terms and conditions, terms of service, should I say. Apparently, this Facebook ID Scraper does completely all that. It's legitimate. We'll soon see how long that holds up for, but I'm sure there'll be another that comes along. So all you need to do is search for your Facebook page here within the Pages tab. And it's literally as simple as this. You select the box here, you go to export, and you click on CSV. So you can do it as a text file as well as a .csv file. And you'll see that Facebook ID Scraper will quickly blast through the initial part, and then it will slowly start to go up in smaller denominations as it extracts all the user IDs. Now, you'll notice that if you just go into Facebook, click on likes, you won't be able to get an extensive list. People have been trying to do that for ages. It can't be done. Now, what these tools do is they scrape through using the Open Graph kind of developer tools, and they can go in and gather close to as many of the Facebook likes as possible. Now, just for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm not going to let it run all the way through to 4,000, but it'll get pretty much around about that figure if I'll just leave it to run. I did one the other day where I extracted around about 30,000 in one go, so you can really use this tool in itself as a valuable tool. But if I just click stop for now, so that we've got 967 IDs. We don't need any more than that for what we're going to do. Now if I go to open folder, Terran Kitchen, all IDs 1. What we've got is a load of what looks like rubbish in this column. Now, just to allow this to make sense. Highlight the column. This is just Excel not formatting it properly. Click on number, and then just get rid of those 2 decimal places. So now what we've got is 900 and I think it was 67, was it? Different user IDs. Yes, it was. So you're probably thinking, great, what do I do with those? Well, the answer is we can use this unique identifier to identify the individual profiles within Facebook Graph. Now, if I just copy this to the clipboard and then I open up Chrome, if I just type in facebook.com/, then I put the user ID, you'll see that actually this goes through to a real person, and it's replaced the user ID with their actual Facebook username. Now, if you want to have a look at the graph, you go to graph.facebook.com/, and then you bring through this, and we'll get a nice bit of information about Anne Collis, where she's located, which gender she is, her username, and a link to her actual profile, and also her full name. This is all the information we need to be able to get the Facebook email address. Now, I'll go into a bit more detail about what that is, but let's just talk through some of the actual data extraction points first. So, the first thing we need to do is be able to get this URL for each of our individual user profiles so that we can go in and scrape data from it within Excel. Quick, simple way is just go into cell B1, and all we're going to do is type in equals http graph.facebook.com, close quotations, then click the ampersand. Oh, forgot to put in a / there, sorry. Put in ampersand and then reference cell A1. Now what this will do is pass those two together, and we can apply this, all of those. I'm just going to copy that, paste it as a value, so we get rid of the formula, and now we've just got all of these parsed URLs. So if I just click on a random one, just to show you that I haven't just made this look like it works. That's again someone else, Brittany Williamson, another person from the US. I'll just go down randomly and stop. So here, we'll go through to this person, and you'll start to see, of course, that I'm not just making this up. So once we've got that, that's a good starting point. Now we need to start focusing on the scraping. If any of you have seen many of my tutorials before, you'll notice that I love data scraping, and you should too, because it's a fantastic way of getting extra data. What you're going to need to do this though is the SEO Tools plugin for Excel. Now, it's a free tool. Some of you may have heard of it before. Done by Niels Bosma. You'll be able to, if you just type in SEO Tools plugin for Excel, you'll see top result. You can go in and download it, plug straight into Excel, really easy to use. You'll also probably see my tutorial here that you can go in on YouTube and have a little look in more detail if you wanted to. So you've got a couple of things you can look at there. I'm not going to go into all the details setting that up. Let's just assume that you followed all of the very easy to use details and you've got it all set up on the site. Now what we need to do is start scraping some extra information. Now, for those of you that aren't so savvy on data scraping, don't worry. I'm just going to copy in this Facebook account. I'm going to talk you through it. You don't need to understand it necessarily if you're not that fussed about actually understanding it. I can show you how to just make it work. Just to give you an understanding of what we're going to do in terms of scraping is, from each of these URLs, we're going to use some JSON code to say, okay, from this URL, extract this piece of information. So if I wanted to get the first name of all these profiles, I'd need to scrape through and find this specific value on each of these individual pages, and I can do that in bulk. The first thing we need to do is gather the username. this is one of the most important parts for us, this username here. So I'm going to show you some simple JSON code that you can use. If you type again equals, and then it's JSON, JSON path on URL. Again, this formula only works with the SEO tools plugin for Excel, so don't message me saying, man, it's not working if you don't have SEO tools set up. Reference cell B1, and then open quotation marks, username, oh, help if I could spell, username, close quotation marks, and we've got that here, and then if you just press enter. So now you'll see that once you've plugged that in, it's pulled straight in the Facebook username of this profile. So all you need to do is just drag down these cells, and Excel will do its thing fairly quickly, and we've got, in a very short space of time, the individual Facebook usernames of all of these individual Facebook profiles. Now, what I would do is I'd apply this to all of the column by just double clicking this here. Probably take 2 or 3 minutes for the SEO tools plugin to do its thing, so just bear with it, it will do it. I'm just going to do a couple so that we're not waiting around for it. So all we want to do now is we want to piece together the username of a user into a Facebook email address. Now, let me just give you a small understanding of what a Facebook email address is. Everybody that owns a Facebook profile has a Facebook email address. Now, what that consists of is your username followed by @facebook.com. So all we need to do here, like what we did with the Facebook graph parsing of the URL, we'll just go equals C1, and then we'll do an ampersand, and then I'm just going to put open quotation marks @facebook.com close quotation marks. So there, what we've got is for these users their Facebook email addresses. So you're probably thinking, again, that's really good, Matt, fantastic, but the hell does a Facebook email address do? What happens when I send to it, etc., etc.? Well, previously, i.e. from February and before that, so last year and ever since Facebook's email addresses were brought into existence, which was a long time ago, about 3 years ago now, all that would happen when you sent through an email through to that Facebook email address would be it would go into someone's private message within Facebook. Wouldn't really do much. It was a bit dodgy anyway, didn't work properly the way Facebook wanted it to. So in February, what Facebook said is, okay, we're going to scrap Facebook email. It's not working for us. It's not something that we want to pursue. What we're going to do instead is anyone that sends an email through to this @facebook.com address can simply have the email forwarded through to the primary email address on their Facebook account. Now that's pretty good for marketers because we can send emails directly to users. You can, if you're thinking right now, like I was when I first discovered this, I don't want people to be able to do that. You can, in your settings, opt out of this within Facebook. I think it's in like privacy and email settings, and then you just untick the box. But by default, it is set to receive emails. So something to just bear in mind, and something that you'll be able to see how we can use this to be able to get directly in touch with people. Before you start going, great, I'm going to go do that now, there's a few other things that we want to do, and a couple of little things that I found from my testing that I'll let you know momentarily. So first things first, what I prefer to do, this is good information, but we'll also want to get a little bit extra in terms of at least their name, their actual name, that is. So here we're going to use another bit of JSON. So again, JSON path on URL. I'm going to reference the URL over here, so cell B1, then comma, open the quotations, and then first underscore name, and we've got Anne, and I'll tell you why that worked. If you look here, first underscore name, we're able to kind of search on the actual label, and it will return the value associated to it. So if I change that to gender, right here, we should get female as the return value. So let's just do this here. Let's just replace that with gender, female. So you can see the value in being able to do this en masse. So let me just type in first name again, and let's just apply this down or here, and I'm just going to copy this because I want to also gather the last name, and I know that this one, I think it's, yeah. So what we've now got is their first name, their last name, and the email address, so we can do personalized emails sent through to each of these individual people. We could also gather their location to see if they were US or UK based or wherever they're located, which is here, locale. So you'll be able to just search that, then you can segment each of these people to send customized messages through to them, however you want to do that, but you can only obviously use the data available to us here. So now that you've got this information, before you go loading it up into your email client and start spamming everybody, which I would hope that you don't do, what I need to tell you is a few things that I found from testing. So the first one, and probably the most important one, is that the first time anyone receives, so let's just say we send an email through to Anne. So the first time she receives an email through to her facebook.com email address, it won't deliver to her. Instead, it will trigger an automatic message from Facebook that will come through to her personal email address, and it will say, did you know that any emails coming to your facebook.com email address will be forwarded straight through to your primary email address? If you want to disable this, this is how you can do it. And Dan will probably be thinking, okay, that's random, but great. The next email that gets sent to her will now go directly to her email address. If I sent it from, say, my email matt@matthewbarby.com, it wouldn't show as from Facebook either. It shows as from Matthew Barby, and it will come straight through. You can add images into that, do whatever you want, and it will come straight through to Anne's email. So what I recommend doing is just setting up just a random Gmail account, pinging through an email, just a blank email through to all of these facebook.com addresses that your followers have, so that it triggers that message. Then moving forward, you can then email all of your followers some promotions, offers, or things that you feel are exactly relevant through to them, and it will go straight through from your email address. Another strange tweak that I found with sending out to facebook.com email addresses, it doesn't like when you send it from Microsoft Outlook. So far, the only things I've tested to work are either Gmail or Hotmail accounts that work. I haven't actually tested through things like Aweber, MailChimp, etc., but I would imagine that that's going to work as well. So before you go sending off, just kind of remember those things, test this out, sending through some messages through to your followers. Make sure that you're not spamming them. The whole point of this is the fact that Facebook reach is declining rapidly. It's tougher than ever to reach the fans and following that you've spent lots of time and money and resources investing in to build, and it's becoming very difficult to market to those followers at all, even though you've acquired them organically, that is, unless you pay some more money through to Facebook. Now, with this as a secondary option, you can get through those messages without having to fork out loads on Facebook ads. Just make sure that you don't start annoying people, pissing people off, sending through irrelevant information. This should all be highly targeted, relevant to the kind of things that you're sharing, the reasons why these people started following you on Facebook in the first place. And then what you really want to be doing is whenever you're sending through these emails, give them the option to opt out as well of sending any further emails, because you're then going to be at risk of losing them off of your social media altogether. So bear that in mind before you just start bulk mailing out these people. Don't just do it for doing its sake. Have a reason, add value, and actually start thinking about how you can improve the experience that you're giving all of your followers. The full tutorial of this, again, in written form, is on the blog. I've also got a slide deck out. So if you want to check that out, the link is in the video description, and you can go have a little look there. If you've got any questions about anything to do with Facebook graph scraping, the Facebook ID scraper tool, just either leave a comment under the video, leave me a comment on the blog, tweet me, email me, however you feel free to do it. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the tutorial.